I still have yet to get anything permanent, which really sucks. How's it going, everyone, and welcome back to yet another Wizard101 video. I'm your host, the Forensic Gamer, and today we are doing another episode of Pack Review, the video where I spend money on packs so you guys don't have to. And today is going to be a very special pack because we are going to be opening the latest new pack, the Pirate Nightmare pack of 2020. Now, I did review this pack in terms of, I believe, the previous year. I think this is pretty much the same pack, just a little bit more updated with updated gear, so I'm very excited for sure. And not necessarily sure how I gave the review for the last pack, but this is more of an updated version, so we'll be kind of going in terms of the latest stuff that has been implemented in this pack. And I'm very excited because the gear looks absolutely gorgeous, and like I say, with many Halloween packs, aesthetically it is very pleasing for the most part, and this is definitely not an exception. This also is very aesthetically pleasing for sure. Now, I gifted myself a couple of packs, usually around like a 10k opening, because that's generally how I do the pack reviews, is that it's based on the 10k opening. Sometimes I might go a little bit over the curve, only because there's something that I really want from this pack specifically. And hopefully we get the new gear, because I did review some of the old gear, but we're hoping to get some of the new gear, which I did open some myself, got a little bit of the new gear, and so far so good. So without further ado, let's get started with today's pack opening. I still have yet to get anything permanent, which really sucks. Ooh, I got one of the cat. Oh, let's go. Oh, let's go. Oh, we got one of the permounts here. That's cool. The ghost host. And we got one of the pirate hats too. I really love the pirate hats, dude. It's like one of my favorite things about it for sure. Let me see. The ghost host apparently is what it's called. Jesus Christ, there's so many of them. Welcome to the land of the living. That's right, I'm going to heaven, y'all. See ya. Oh, that's so cool. I like this. It even has like its own sound effects as well. I like that. That's actually really cool. We're gonna try to open a few more and just see what we can get here, because I'm really hoping to at least complete one set. At least one set with a wand. Oh! Speaking of which, here's the wand. Oh, wow. That's an interesting wand, actually. Okay. So instead of having critical, we have block now. Decent damage. And then it's a Maycast guest box. I wonder what that could mean. Just box, actually. I wonder what that could mean. Like, honestly, I'm actually genuinely curious now. I think it's like the third or fourth time I got that hat, and I have yet to get the robe for it. Oh wait, did I just see that right? My eyes don't deceive me, do they? No perm. I don't see a perm here. Oh, let's go. Okay. All right, I'm keeping that. Cool. It only took like 50k crowns, but cool. Alright guys, and I am back with the review portion of the video, and this pack video is going to be very short only because I've already reviewed the pack before, so if you want to check the previous version of this, definitely check it out for sure. But we're going to be reviewing mainly just the stuff that comes from the latest of this pack, so 2020, not 2019. So essentially, what I want to talk about with this pack is going to be the aesthetics, the gear, and also my final thoughts. Essentially, it's kind of how it goes. But in terms of aesthetics, I really do love the aesthetics for this pack for sure. This is the only completed set I was able to obtain. Every other gear I just wasn't able to obtain a complete set, unfortunately, since it was a mixture between the previous pack of the Pirate Nightmare and the current version of the Pirate Nightmare, which is very unfortunate in a way. It's great and also not great for many reasons. It's great because yes, you have the ability to get either or gear in one pack, but it's also bad because of the same reason. Because if you were going for the latest stuff, then it's going to be very hard for you to obtain it. You're going to be spending a lot more crowns in order to obtain it. But I will get to that in the final thoughts version of this. In terms of aesthetics, well, as you can see, I have the Spirit Lifted mount, I believe is what it's called. And I think that these mounts definitely do complete the set overall. I think it looks really good aesthetically for sure. And even without the mount, it looks really good. What I love about this mount for sure is the fact that it has some extra sound effects to it. You know, you hear the sound of the chains from the specters. You hear the specters kind of like going with a little bit of a groan. You know, they're just making noises essentially, giving it a very nice Halloween feel to it. So definitely a great mount overall for sure. And like I said before, it completes the set. But even without the mount, it still looks like a really good piece of gear. As you can see here, I have like the full set for this one. Every other one, I have most of the set, but it is missing a few parts. Now for this one, as you can see, you can tell that it's very highly detailed. So you definitely are very certain to see this in stitches just because it's extremely detailed. It goes well with the current graphics that we have today for Wiz, and I think it looks great. You know, some of the gear that is from the Halloween pack haven't been updated, or at least it doesn't necessarily look like it's updated, so it looks pretty outdated. But this, like I said, it's like the new stuff, so obviously it's going to be graphically updated for sure to fit the new update, and this looks really good. I really like how silly the hat is. This is the first time where I can say that, yes, I love the hat. Like, I love the hat. There's no way for me to say that I dislike the hat. I love the hat. So this is the first time, other than the Halloween for the previous pirate pack, where I can simply say that I love the hat. Like, it's crazy. So this is definitely a good positive that we actually have a good looking hat that you can use in a multitude of stitches. And the rubber boots are also pretty good at themselves. It gives like a good feel of a mixture between maybe the Beast Moon stuff, maybe like a better Beast Moon version of like the boots for sure. And you know, it gives you like a little bit of a glimpse on what the Celestium pack kind of was in terms of like the neon design. I've been seeing that recently neon design has been very popular, I believe ever since the latest Krakotopia pack, and that's definitely really nice because it gives gear a little bit of an oomph to them. Doesn't mean that every single piece of packs and gear should be neon themed, definitely not, but this is definitely a very welcomed aesthetic for sure. And as you can see, you have the wand here having a little bit of the crystals and skulls, and it looks really good. And I even said the same thing about the previous Pirate Nightmare pack, where the gear also looks really good aesthetically. Now in terms of the second set that I did complete is this one, but I don't have the wand for it actually. So I'm not sure if the wand has a change of colors. I'm pretty sure it has maybe some slight changes, maybe to like, for the most part, the little aura to it, or maybe even the jewels are a little bit different, but for the most part it might be the same looking. And I have the mount that is Spirited Away. I'm not talking about the movie though, but essentially this is the second mount. I actually got a prayer mount of this, which is really good, and this is really nice looking. It's definitely a more darker tone for blue, but I really do like it. It makes the turquoise glow pop a lot more, and I think this is pretty solid overall. Now, as you can see, you know, you have the blue specters here, and they look really nice. It's the same thing as the green ones, just with a little bit of a blue color, and you can see like the little glow from the bottom here is the same. So there's really not much difference to it, except maybe just a little bit of a change in color. And finally, I have the Ghost Hunter set. This is the only one that I didn't get to complete 100%, which is very unfortunate because this is actually one of my most favorite ones. And we did get the prayer mount for this, which is the Ghost Host, and this one looks really good. I definitely like this one for sure. This has to be my favorite only because of the fact that it's a white with burgundy mixture. I'm basically a sucker for this kind of color set for sure, and like I said, looks really good overall. So aesthetically, this pack is very good, and I definitely will see this pack in a lot of stitches in the future. But now that we talked a lot about the aesthetics of this pack, let's actually talk about the stats and compare them to some other stuff that we usually compare in pack review. So let's compare the hat to the Savannas here, because this is a very popular hat that I will use if you don't happen to have Dragoons. This is a pretty decent replacement for the time being. If you take a look at the gear changes here, as you can see, this has slightly more health, slightly more power pip chance, slightly more accuracy, slightly more crit. You do lose some damage though. You lose 4% damage from going from this to this, but there are quite a lot of advantages of going from this hat compared to this. So in terms of PvE, if we're looking for a Dragoons replacement, if you don't happen to have Dragoons, this hat isn't terrible. It's not the best, but it's definitely not terrible. If you were to compare this with Vanguards, on the other hand, well, as you can see for the gear changes, well, you just lose like 1% accuracy here. You do gain more power pip chance in this set. You do lose some health in this set. You do lose that pierce. You do gain more crit, and you don't necessarily lose too much damage, and you also have better shadow pip rating. So, like I said, this hat isn't necessarily terrible if you're going for a PvE replacement to Dragoons. And it really just becomes a bad thing once you compare this to Dragoons, only because not only are their stats better on Dragoons, but also the gear set makes it better than anything else that you can possibly see in current time. Now, let's go ahead and compare the boots, for example. If we were to compare the boots from Savannah's, well, as you can see, you have more power pip chance, slightly more health, same accuracy, a ton more crit, which is very interesting. You do lose the same amount of damage as the hat, but again, it's not that terrible considering the fact that you do gain more on every other stat. So, like I said, this is a pretty decent replacement to Dragoons if you don't have Dragoons. And obviously, it will be the same story with the Vanguard's boots. And once you start comparing them to Dragoons, obviously Dragoons is superior, mainly because of the gear set bonuses that you get from Dragoons that make it superior right away. The one is actually very interesting because this comes with block instead of critical. But the thing about the wand is how it comes with a interesting Maycast that no one really knows what it does. Now, let me know if you guys find out what it does. I feel like it might be some sort of maybe a reflecting kind of Maycast, where if your opponent was to hit you with a Lord Master, then if you were to happen to trigger the Maycast, it will hit him back with a Lord Master. Maybe it could be depending on the schools. Like, let's say if I use the Myth Wand hit, then it'll do like a Maycast for like any Myth spell. It could be like any Myth lore spell. So something like Ninja Pigs, Athena, Keeper of the Flame, you know, something like that. Or if I do Life, it'll be like Luminous Weaver. It could be like something as random as Goat Monk, or you don't know. Like, that's the crazy thing. It's like we don't necessarily know as to what this Maycast will do. So if you guys happen to have any information on that, definitely let me know. But in terms of just the stats itself, well, as you can see, it's not great for PvP, only because Pierce is such an important stat. It's not great for PvE, only because of the fact that, well, you have the Fossil Hunters set, essentially, or just like anything from the Fossil Pack, where the gear bonus basically outclasses this, and not to mention that PvE is a little bit more of an offensive meta rather than a more defensive meta. So since the fact that block rating is more of a defensive stat, it's not going to necessarily be great overall. Now, there has been some talk about some critical changes that are coming soon, which I will be talking about that in the Rant Tavern video, so maybe this might have some sort of use once Caramel hits, but as of right now, I could definitely say for certain that this is not better than anything that you've seen recently. I feel like this is more of a wand that has an interesting Maycast that not many people know about, and also it's aesthetically nice. But that's really all I have to say about the stats. So with my final verdict of this pack, I'm giving this pack a 2.5 out of 5. I think it's an okay pack overall. Aesthetically, it's amazing. I think that in terms of like the gear, there are some uses to the gear for sure. Not necessarily a high use, but there is some sort of a use for the gear. But in terms of just a pack quality, it's really where it comes down to is the pack quality. Most of the time, this is combined with a lot of different type of Halloween themed mounts. So we're not talking about the exclusive mounts, we're also talking about the other mounts that are Halloween themed. So we're talking about the bat wings, the stallion for some reason, the seraph wings, we're talking about like the brooms, and we're also including the exclusive mounts like the Flying Dutchman mount and these mounts that you see here. So there's a lot of mounts with potential of being rental mounts, and they came very frequently for sure. Also, a lot of housing items that tend to come very frequently that are not exclusive to the pack, which I definitely give that a thumbs down for sure. And not very useful snacks. TC was okay for the most part. There were some uses for the TC. Deathbat was definitely the biggest highlight for sure, because it's great for PvP for sure, especially if you're a balance wizard. But overall, this is more of an aesthetic type of pack, and I will definitely proceed with caution when it comes to opening this pack, only because of the fact that there is a high chance you'll be getting rental mounts and housing items that aren't exclusive to the pack. And you also are having a pack where it's essentially you have chances of getting the pirate pack stuff or the latest pirate pack stuff from like either the previous year or the current year. So keep in mind, if you're trying to get the new stuff, you're more than likely going to be getting the pirate stuff or the other way around. It really just depends on your luck. So personally, I would open this pack if there was some sort of crown sale or maybe even a Pack-a-Palooza. But as of right now, I don't necessarily 100% recommend. But if you are into the aesthetics, which I do think the aesthetics are amazing, I would say go for it. Hopefully you guys did enjoy today's video. Let me know what you guys think about this pack overall and as to what you want to see in the future. I have lots of stuff coming up in the near future about the Rant Tavern series, so if you haven't checked that out, definitely check it out. I'm probably going to be talking about either the critical system next or maybe even the matchmaking system. Just a little bit of a speculation about the future of PvP. And I don't know, there's just like a lot of things that could be happening on this channel that I could possibly talk about and have a discussion with you guys, which is literally my most favorite thing to do when it comes to making this kind of content for sure. But let me know what else you want to see sometime in the future, and as always, make sure to check out the other previous pack review videos. I will definitely have a playlist for both series, so make sure to check it out. It definitely does help me a lot. So always remember to leave a like, subscribe if you haven't, and always remember to stay frenzy. Peace.